Champ down.
Yes, I didn't say. What are you looking so sad about, Champ?
I'm surprised at you. I mean, I'm really insulted. That's not right, what you just said.
What do you mean, what I just said?
I mean, I'm getting things. What I'm late getting on, but you talk. I said something about the greatest heavyweight champ, man. I'm a hometown man, and you talking about Joe Louis, man. Joe Louis wouldn't be nothing for me. Joe, I tell you, Joe, do you think you would have stood a chance with me?
Well, Clay, one time during my career, I was on a Bomber of the Month tour.
I would have been a bum compared to you.
When you've been on the tour.
What's happening, my people? It's Cat Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. That's right. You know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Boxtorian bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. Miss Cass, Mike Mazik, Ace, Just Do Boxing. Salute to everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cass Sports, the Boxtorian. Today, Women in Boxing 2025. How's everybody today? How's the family? This is the Monday afternoon edition of Cass Sports, the Boxtorian, right back at the beginning of another big week of boxing history. As promised, we're going to talk about the women today. Just a little brief state of boxing in 2025. You know, we got the trilogy coming up between Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, July 11th, back at Madison Square Garden. It's on the schedule. Amanda and Katie gonna have, well, it's not the rubber match because Katie won the first two, but another big fight between those two. I thought they should have gave Amanda at least one of them. But all about women's boxing today. We're going to talk a little history of a little state of boxing in 2025. And then I got 25 active women that's active currently in 2025. We're going to briefly talk about them. And then I got 10 of the greatest fights in the modern era. Between 2000 and 2025, 10 of the greatest women's fights in that period. But first, for the highlights of boxing history, we have 5 pioneers of women's boxing. Without these, hitting buttons, I'm sorry. My bad. That ain't my song. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, we got 5 pioneers we're going to talk about first. Without these 5 women, there is no Katie Taylor, no Grote, no Amanda Serrano, no Sinisa Estrada, no Caroline Dubois, no Natasha Jonas, no none of them. Okay? We're going to talk about 5 pioneers of women's boxing. So without further ado, highlights of boxing history. This is going to take us on up to 2:30. We're going to get into the women in boxing. Well, we're already into it, you know. The 5 pioneers. Okay, let's talk about these pioneers of women's boxing first. But how's everybody today? Appreciate everybody stopping by on this Monday afternoon. Okay. 5 of the pioneers of women's boxing. Now, women are natural-born fighters, but these 5 pioneering female boxers decided to step into the ring to show the world what it truly means to fight like a girl, okay? Now, this women's history, excuse me, started in the wrong place. I'm messing up bad today. Now, overcoming enormous barriers, including sexism, racism, legal battles, and domestic violence. The legacies of these 5 famous female boxers show the world what it really means to fight like a girl and be victorious. Okay, first we have Barbara Buttrick. Go way back for Barbara Buttrick. Now, Barbara, during her career, she had a boxing record of 30 wins, just 1 loss, 1 draw. At 4 feet, 11 inches tall, Barbara Buttrick was known as the Mighty Atom of the ring. She was born in England in 1929, and at age 15, she spotted a story in the Sunday paper about Polly Burns, a female prize fighter in the early 1900s. Now, Buttrick bought her first pair of boxing gloves and found a trainer in London, where she worked as a shorthand typist by day and trained at night. Now, Buttrick said, "I was small, but I was mean," Buttrick told the Miami Herald in a 1998 interview. Now, Buttrick began her boxing career in 1948, touring Europe as a bantamweight in the boxing booths of carnivals before coming to North America in 1952. Also known as Battling Barbara, she fought professionally in Canada and the United States before moving to Dallas, Texas in 1957. Now, by the time Buttrick arrived in Texas, she had fought over 1,000 fights with men as well as 18 professional women's fights. It was then in San Antonio, Texas, that Battling Barbara truly made history, winning a world title fight against Phyllis Kugler, solidifying her position as one of the most famous female boxers of all time. After moving to Miami Beach with her husband, she defeated Gloria Adams in what is believed to be the first female boxing match in Florida in 1959. She fought her last fight in 1960 while 4 months pregnant, before retiring to raise her children and pivot careers to be a ringside photographer. Buttrick was inducted into the International Boxing and Wrestling Hall of Fame in 1990, and she founded the Women's International Boxing Federation, the WIBF. I know y'all heard a lot of those women had their WIBF title. That was founded by Barbara Buttrick, right? Yes, she founded the Women's International Boxing Federation in 1993. A stage play called The Mighty Adams, inspired by Buttrick's life, premiered in the UK in 2017. Barbara Buttrick, one of the pioneers of women's boxing. Lady Tiger, Mariam Tremilliard, called her Lady Tiger. 18 professional fights, won 14, lost 4, 5 knockouts. Born in the Bronx, Mariam Tremilliard is the first woman to be granted a professional boxing license by the New York State Athletic Commission. Tremilliard, known as Lady Tiger, began boxing right out of high school at age 18 and was fighting in exhibition fights before it was legal for women to fight in sanctioned matches. She turned pro in Canada in 1975, but was limited by state restrictions on female boxing in the United States. Now, Tremilliard applied for a boxing license in her home state of New York, only to be denied. He said, "I slept, ate, ran boxing. It didn't give me nothing back." Tremilliard told the grueling truth. You don't realize the prejudices out there of all the isms, and I know them all. Sexism is the worst. After a long legal battle, the Lady Tiger was finally issued a boxing license by New York State in 1978 and went on to win the Women's World Lightweight Championship in 1979. A lifelong advocate, Tremilliard went on a month-long hunger strike in 1987 for better working conditions and higher pay for women's professional boxers. Mariam Tremilliard was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 2021 as one of the best female boxers of all time. Lady Tiger, Mariam Tremilliard. Talking about 5 of the pioneers of women's boxing. All right. Next we have Lucia Rijker. Lucia Rijker. That's Lucia on the left. No, that's not Amanda Serrano. That's Lucia. I had to double check. Now, Lucia finished her career 17-0 with 15 knockouts. Now, that's like 70-something% because it's a low number of fights, but that is beautiful for women's boxing. No. That's, what am I talking about? That's 88.2% knockout ratio. That's incredible for women's boxing. Only 2 people went the distance with her. Never beaten. Lucia Rijker. And she also was a kickboxer. 35-0 in kickboxing. 25 knockouts. Never lost in her professional career fighting boxing or kickboxing. Now, Lucia started training in judo at the age of 6, becoming part of the Dutch national softball team at age 7. and was named Netherlands junior fencing champion at age 14. She was very versatile, very athletic. Mariska started training in kickboxing at age 15, right? Knocking out the American kickboxing champion, Lily Rodriguez, and continuing to gain a 36-0 record with 35-0 world record with 4 world titles, ensuring her place as one of the most famous female kickboxers in history. Now, her boxing career was equally impressive, with 17 wins and 15 knockouts, earning her the Women's International Boxing Federation welterweight title and legendary status. Known as the most dangerous woman in the world and the Dutch Destroyer, Rizka took a short hiatus from the ring to pursue several acting roles. These included an appearance in the 2004 Oscar-winning film Million Dollar Baby and an award-winning documentary in 2000 about her life called Shadow Boxers. On top of Rizka's extraordinary career in the ring, she speaks 4 languages fluently and hosts lectures and seminars about reaching one's full potential, with a focus on staying in peak physical condition. Lucia Rizka was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 2020. Okay, next we have the coal miner's daughter, Christy Martin. Mike Mazik and Mike Grimm, the Mike brothers in the house. Salute Mike Mazik, salute Mike Grimm. Women's boxing today highlights the boxing history of just 5 pioneers of women's boxing. We had Barbara Buttrick, Miriam Trimmer-Yard Lady Tiger, Lucia Rizka. Now we have the coal miner's daughter, Christy Martin. Talk about the coal miner's daughter. Okay. She had a career mark of 49 wins, 7 losses, 3 draws, with 31 knockouts. Okay. 31 knockouts for women's boxing. Incredible. Now, the coal miner's daughter began her fighting career winning 3 consecutive titles in tough woman contests. She launched her pro boxing career with a 6-round draw against Angela Buchanan in 1989, winning the rematch 1 month later with a knockout in round 2. Now, Christy went on to win 19 consecutive fights after that. Christy, nicknamed the coal miner's daughter, started training with boxing coach and husband, James Martin, in 1991. After the couple moved to Florida, Christy became the first woman to sign with Don King and debuted in Las Vegas, Nevada in 1994. 2 years later, she rose to fame as the lightweight women's champion of the world, earning her place on the Sports Illustrated cover and an immediate pay increase from $15,000 to $150,000 per fight. That was a big raise. $15,000 to $150,000 per fight, guaranteeing her place in history as one of the best female boxers ever. Okay, she was the first female boxer ever to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated too. Now, Christy's stardom continued until her first knockout loss to Laila Ali in 2003, followed by a string of more losses and festering personal turmoil that would soon come to a head. She said, "Boxing was the best therapy I could find," okay? She told Sports Illustrated in 2016. "That's where I felt the most safest." In 2010, Christy was stabbed repeatedly and shot by her husband, James Martin, after years of abuse. The gunshot missed her heart by only 4 inches. Against all odds, Christy miraculously survived. James was convicted of attempted second-degree murder and sentenced to 25 years in prison. After everything she had gone through, Christy wasn't ready to give up boxing yet. And 193 days after almost losing her life, she re-entered the ring, only to have her trainer stop the fight when it was clear her hand was broken. She subsequently suffered a stroke, officially ending her career in 2012. She had to fight another long road to recovery, eventually taken to up work as a substitute teacher in aiding military veterans in finding employment. Christy spoke on Capitol Hill in support of the Protecting Domestic Violence and Stalking Victims Act in 2013. If that's why I had to go through what I did to help save other people, she says, that's okay with me. I made it, and so many other people did not. Christy was the first female boxer to be inducted into the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame in 2016, and she was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 2020 as one of the most famous female boxers in history, the coal miner's daughter, Christy Martin. And finally, finalists of our 5 pioneers of women's boxing, we have Laila Ali. Laila Ali, okay? All about women's boxing today, starting out with these 5 pioneers of the sport. Laila Ali, of course, finished her career 24 wins, no losses, 21 knockouts. That's 87% knockout ratio, okay? Only 3 people went the distance with 87.5% knockout ratio. And time permitting, we're going to talk about that beef between Laila Ali and Claressa Shields, which I think is ridiculous. You know, just because people want to compare what would happen between them, they beefing on social media. Look at all the men, Ali, Tyson, Ali, Joe Louis, Canelo, and everybody that fought back in the day, Sugar Ray, Floyd, all the comparisons made between these men, none of them have any animosity toward each other because of it. They just laugh or probably enjoy the comparisons. But Laila Ali and Claressa Shields got to show this animosity and beefing on social media because people wonder who would have been the best if they fought in the same era. I call that stupid. Come on, man. But anyway, Laila Ali. Inspired by watching a Christy Martin televised fight, Laila Ali began boxing at age 18. Despite initial resistance from her famous father, Muhammad Ali. Her father was concerned for his daughter's safety, but she knocked out her first opponent, April Fowler, in round 1 of her first fight in 1999. She went on to seal her superstar status with 9 wins in a row. In 2003, Ali got the chance to fight her inspiration, Christy Martin, and won with a knockout in the 4th round. Laila Ali has held the WBC, WIBA, WBF, and IBA female super middleweight titles, as well as the IWBF light heavyweight title. She retired from the ring in 2007 and is considered by many to be the greatest female boxer of all time, including me. That's the real GOAT right there, Laila Ali. Laila Ali became an accomplished television personality and co-authored an autobiography, Reach, Finding Strength, Spirit, and Personal Power. She was inducted into the International Women's Boxing Hall of Fame in 2015. Legends in the making. Who is currently the greatest female boxer? Now, these are only 5 of the countless women who have obliterated barriers and paved the way for others, fighters and females, to achieve their dreams. The world of women's boxing has exploded with talent that may have otherwise gone unrecognized. Now we get to watch the extraordinary achievement of female fighters like 2012 Olympic gold medalist Claressa Shields, the only boxer, male or female, to hold all 4 major world titles in 3 weight classes, the only one. three belt and three undisputed in 3 weight classes of the 4 belt era. Claressa Shields, okay? And the undefeated Katie Taylor, who has won 5 consecutive gold medals in the Women's World Championships, 6 times at the European Championships, and 5 times at the European Union Championships. And the 7-division world title holder, Amanda Serrano, who made the Guinness World Records for the most boxing championships won in different weight classes by a woman. The list goes on. Thanks to those who fought for a woman's rightful place in the ring. Yeah, those were 5 of the pioneers: Barbara Buttrick, Myron Tremilliard, Lucia Rizker, Christy Martin, and Layla Ali. Okay, so now let's get ready to start today's show. Women in Boxing 2025. All right. Okay. Yeah, I don't need this. Okay. Stay with me for a moment, please. I gotta stand up. How's everybody today, though? This is the fight week. I'm bending down, talking to the floor. I know I faded out. This is fight week for another big 2025 card. Headlined by Ryan and Rolly coming up Saturday, right? Miss Joette back in the building today. Salute, Miss Joette. How are you today? Happy Monday to you. Happy Monday. Miss Cash, there go Miss Joette. Salute, Miss Joette. Hope you had a great weekend. This is fight week for another big one. Ryan and Rolly, Devin and Jose Ramirez, Theo and Honor Barboza, and a lot of other great fights on the card. And BVO Sports TV, hashtag STN, Sports Talk Network. Salute, Miss Joette and BVO. Okay, it's all about women's boxing today. Women's boxing in 2025, okay? So let's get into it. Appreciate everybody for stopping by today. Starting off another big week of boxing history on Cast Sports, the Boxtorian. Okay, bringing you all that boxing history. Okay, let's get into it. Women in Boxing 2025. Now, Katie, let me drop this down a note, please. Bear with me for a minute. Drop that down one note. I turned it down about 5 times. It keep coming up by itself. The ghost in here or something. The button. Well, I'm not looking. Something is going on. Okay. Today's show is called Women in Boxing 2025. Now, Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano will renew their rivalry this summer, with women's boxing still on the rise as they get another big boost from streaming service Netflix, with a historic all-female card on American sports' most legendary stage, Madison Square Garden. Now, Taylor and Serrano made history 3 years ago when they became the first women to headline a card at Madison Square Garden, widely considered at the time the biggest ever fight in women's boxing history. Now, this summer, July 11th, they are doubling down with the first all-women's professional boxing card at the world's most famous arena, right? July 11th, MSG. With every fight on the card, an undisputed fight or unified championship fight. Every fight on the card for undisputed or unified champion. All women's card. You know, right now, women's boxing is as popular as it's ever been and steadily growing in popularity. Okay? Yes, it is. Now, promoter Jake Paul said, "This is the time to show the world what women's boxing is all about, to shut up these ignorant incumbents who say women's boxing doesn't belong, or for the new entrants who show no regard or respect for women's boxing. That's what promoter Jake Paul said at a media event promoting the card earlier this month. Now, Paul's most valuable promotions company has played a significant role in the rise in popularity in women's boxing in recent years. Yeah, I don't agree with Jake too much as a boxer, but he's a hell of a promoter. Jake has been great for women's boxing, getting them paid, getting them the fights, the visibility, just been great. Jake should just stick to the promoting side, making plenty of money and, but hey, don't knock the hustle. If you want to fight, let him fight. He beat Mike Tyson. 50-something-year-old Mike Tyson, though. But yeah, Jake is part of this promotion. I think Eddie Hearn promotes Katie, right? So Eddie's involved too. But anyway, Serrano became the first fighter to sign with Jake's MVP in 2021. In a 2024 fight against Taylor last year, that was the second between them, was the best fight on the card, headlined by Jake Paul against boxing legend Mike Tyson. Now, Paul beat Tyson in an intergenerational fight, but it was the fight between Puerto Rican sensation Serrano and Irish woman Taylor that earned rave reviews from the fans, as almost 50 million households tuned in for the co-main event on Netflix, right? Now, the third chapter of their trilogy does not kick off. Now listen to this. The third fight in their trilogy does not kick off for a few months until July 11th. But the excitement is already building in New York, where the first day of ticket sales already surpassed the total ticket revenue of the first fight, right? In 2022. The first day of ticket sales for this third fight passed the total ticket revenue for the first fight just in one day. So people want this fight. I know I do. Yeah, I want the trilogy. Isn't that incredible? The first day of sales surpassed the entire ticket revenue of the first fight. Now, women's sports are growing in every category, and women's boxing is included as part of that growth. Now, women's boxing right now is the most popular that it's ever been and steadily growing in popularity, right? Now, anything that's kind of record-setting or new or something that's never happened before in women's sports is a good thing. And with the event set to take place at Madison Square Garden between these two women, adds even more luster to the event, because Madison Square Garden is one of the most famous venues in the world, okay, bar none. Yeah, the Garden, especially for boxing. Sugar Ray Robinson fought there, Joe Louis fought there, Rocky Marciano fought there, Jake LaMotta fought there, Jack Dempsey fought there. They all fought at the Garden way back there. Now, the history making comes with women boxing on the rise. After Olympic boxing moved towards equality last summer in Paris, with a new women's weight class was added to the Olympics last summer. They added a new women's weight class. They sure did. Yep, last summer. Now they move up and down weight classes, searching for the best possible opponent who can give them the most in terms of financial gains, prestige, and overall challenge. Welcome to the world of women's boxing, where the best fight the best, where title fights are a weekly occurrence, and unification fights are the norm and not the exception. Now, on this, we're gonna do this list of 25 women that's currently active right now. Now, Katie Taylor gets this slight edge over Clarissa Shields for the number one spot. Now, let me explain. Don't jump on me yet. Katie Taylor gets the edge over Clarissa for number one because what Taylor has done for the sport in Europe has been extremely impactful, as that's an area of the world where women's boxing has become incredibly popular, more so than the United States. Now, while it's not Claressa Shields' fault because of the divisions she has competed in, the overall quality of opponents Katie Taylor has faced throughout her career has been slightly higher than Shields, okay? Now, it is a toss-up conversation between the two, right? And there's no real wrong answer between Taylor and Shields. They are the two best fighters in the sport of women's boxing right now, and both have had a significant impact on where women's boxing is today. Now, that debate can go throughout this list, even toward the back end, where there, of course, will be some worthy fighters who will be left off. Now, in a sport whose depth is significant, and there are continually up-and-coming young fighters that can only contribute to the continued growth of women's boxing in the future. Okay, let's look at some of these women now. You got like 25 women, just short. I ain't gonna bore y'all. Just a little short thing about them. The record, what they've done, championships they've held, that sort of thing. Okay? And then we got 10 of the best fights in the modern era. Like from 2000, between 2000 and 2025, that period. We got 10 fights from that period. 10 of the best fights from that period, okay? Here's Katie and the GOAT. Yeah. No wrong answer when you pick one of them as the best, Either can be number one. Amanda is right there with Amanda Serrano. Okay, let's get into this list now. Talk about some of these great women's boxers. Because the women getting there and put it on the line. And like I say, women's boxing is as popular as it's ever been. Like 5 years ago, I couldn't even name 10 women's boxers. Now I can name like 40 right off the top of my head, So yeah, women's boxing have come a long way. And I'll be glad when they give them 12 rounds in 3 minutes, man, because I don't even know the reason why they fight 10 rounds, 2 minutes. And Amanda Serrano was fighting 12 rounds, 3 minutes. So her and Katie is going to be 10 rounds, 2 minutes. But I think that's because of Katie. Because that first fight, if it had been 12 rounds, 3 minutes, in round 5, Amanda would have got Katie out of there because she had her on the ropes hurt, ready to go. And then that 2 minutes, the round ended. Another minute, Katie wouldn't have made it. But Katie Taylor is first. On the strength of her 2 wins over Amanda. She got to be in front of Amanda and slightly in front of the GOAT because I think Katie's resume is a little bit better than the GOAT's. But, not the GOAT's fault because, she's fought everybody, beat everybody to put it in front of her. But you got to pick somebody as first. So Katie Taylor, she's won 24 fights, lost 1, 6 knockouts. Now, Taylor remains one of the faces of women's boxing and one of the top 3 fighters in the sport. In 2022, she won the biggest fight in the history of women's boxing, defeating Amanda Serrano by split decision at a sold-out Madison Square Garden in New York City. The first women's fight to ever headline the Garden. And they're doing it again in July 11th. Entire card of women. Every fight for undisputed or unification. Okay, that's going to be quite a card. A hell of a card, man. July 11th. All women's card. Now, KT also won the second fight with Serrano last year. This time by unanimous decision. And like I said, the third fight between the two would take place this summer on July 11th, back at MSG. Now, Taylor has routinely sold out the biggest fights throughout her career. KT is one of 5 boxers in history to be undisputed in 2 weight classes in the 4-belt era. Only 5 of them, and she's one of them. Let's see, there's the Claressa Shields, Terence Crawford, Katie Taylor, Naoya Inoue, and Olasanda Usyk. 4-belt undisputed in 2 weight classes. Now, KT's global reach and her influence has helped push women's boxing to higher levels, especially in Europe. Okay. And of course, next is the GOAT, Claressa Shields, the self-proclaimed GOAT. Personally, I think Layla Ali is the greatest woman of all time, or the GOAT. But Claressa is, she's got a good claim to it. She want to call herself the GOAT, call yourself the GOAT. I don't care. But Claressa is currently 16-0 with 3 knockouts. Okay? You can't be the GOAT. 16-0, 3 knockouts. Layla Ali was 24-0 with 21 knockouts. But I think that's ridiculous, that beef they got going on. You know, look at all the men they compare from different eras, and they just laugh it off, you know. Claressa and Layla beefing back and forth on Twitter, calling each other names and stuff. It's crazy. But Claressa Shields has carried women's boxing in the United States and continues her dominance in the prime of her career. A 2-time Olympic gold medalist and currently the only 3-division world undisputed champion in the 4-belt era. Only one 4-belt undisputed in 3 different weight classes. She's got middleweight, junior middleweight, and heavyweight. And Claressa has also held multiple belts at super middleweight, but never undisputed. Now, in the past, she has also embarked on an MMA career and plans to fight in both sports in the future. Yeah, MMA and boxing. Yeah. And number next is Amanda Serrano, the real deal. Amanda Serrano. There's Amanda on the right, punching somebody in the jaw. Amanda Serrano. She's 47 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, 31 knockouts. That's incredible. 31 knockouts for women's boxing. 31 knockouts. Amanda has popped too. Now, Serrano's stardom has risen over the past few years as she has fought in bigger stages and linked with promoter Jake Paul. Right, when she got with Jake, yeah, she was already a star, but Jake took her to superstar. She linked with Jake Paul to create larger platforms for her work. Now, even though she lost both her fights with Katie Taylor by decision, those fights raised her profile and solidified her standing as one of the best in the sport as she moved up multiple weight classes to face Taylor. Now, Serrano has held titles in 7 weight classes, right? And is currently unified champion at featherweight. She was undisputed, but she dropped the WBC because they wouldn't sanction 12 rounds, 3 minutes for the women, so she dropped that, okay? But she's still, I think, 3-belt unified at featherweight. Now, Serrano is one of the most powerful punchers in women's boxing, with 31 knockouts in 51 fights. Now, before her loss to Katie Taylor, the real deal had not lost in an entire decade, okay? Before that first loss to Taylor in 2022, she hadn't lost in an entire decade. Okay, since like 2012. Incredible. Chantel Cameron, another great women's boxer. There's Chantel. Had those 2 great fights with Katie in 2023. I thought they should have had a trilogy. You know, 2 great fights, both majority decisions, both were each other's only loss. That had trilogy written all over, but they just left it sitting there. Chantel is 20 wins, 1 loss, 8 knockouts. Now, Cameron is a former undisputed junior welterweight champion and has fought high-level opponents for years and has solidified herself as a top 5 fighter in the sport. She medaled twice as an amateur in the European Championships before taking on a professional career. A smart fighter who has shown power. Cameron was in 2 of the biggest fights in women's boxing in 2023 when she split a pair of fights with Katie Taylor. Okay. Alicia Baumgartner. There's Alicia Baumgardner. Number 5 makes the top 5 in women's boxing today. Alicia has 15 wins, 1 loss, 7 knockouts. Now, Baumgardner is the current undisputed champion at super featherweight. She turned pro in 2017 and won her first title in 2021 after defeating Terry Harper for the WBC junior lightweight belt. That was the final piece to her 4-belt puzzle, was WBC. Now, Baumgardner has plenty of power and has emerged as one of the better personalities in women's boxing. Now, she became the undisputed super lightweight champion in February 2023 after defeating Ilham Makhachev for the WBA title. Now, Baumgardner entered the fight as the underdog. Let's see. Terry Harper. Okay, let's continue. I had a little discrepancy there. Baumgardner defeated Terry Harper for the WBC belt at junior lightweight. Okay, but she got undisputed when she beat Alheim for the WBA title. Terry Harper was just on the way to undisputed. Okay, yeah. Alheim was the final piece to the puzzle at WBC. Okay. All right. We had Mikaela Mayer, top 10 fighter in women's boxing today. Kensaw Love 1, Jarrell Hattie in the building. Salute, family. How y'all doing today? We right at another week of boxing history. As promised last week, today is Women's Boxing 2025. We're looking at 25 of currently active women right now. We're at number 6, Mikaela Mayer. Yeah, she's a top 10 fighter in women's boxing today, Mikaela is. She's currently 21 wins, 2 losses, 5 knockouts. Now, Mayer is a technically gifted and sound fighter, who has become one of the top pro-style fighters in the game. Now, Mayer has shown the ability to be a counterpuncher and to get into high-level slugfest. She is currently the WBO welterweight champion, a title she has held since 2024, and is a 2-division champion, having previously held the IBF and WBO super featherweight world titles. Mikaela Mayer. Yeah, just a little brief. I ain't trying to bore y'all. Natasha Jonas. There's Natasha Jonas. Let me see. What's happening in the chat over there? Everybody good today? Yeah. Really appreciate everybody stopping by today. Okay, Natasha Jonas. Natasha is 16-3, 1 draw, 9 knockouts. Also known as Miss GB. Jonas is a 2-weight world champion and trailblazer in British boxing. In 2012, Jonas became the first British female boxer to qualify for the Olympics, eventually losing to Katie Taylor from Ireland. Now, Jonas turned pro in 2017 and has found comfort in the heavier weight division, right? She held the unified WBC and WBO featherweight. No. She had junior middleweight titles. Featherweight ain't no heavy division. She had WBC and WBO junior middleweight titles from 2022 to 2025. She just lost her title this year to split decision to Lauren Price. I think that was in January, wasn't it? Now, Jonas won the vacant IBF welterweight title in 2023. That gave her second division, but she lost her other title this year. I think it was January to Lauren Price. Yeah. I think I watched that fight. The veteran, Delphine Persoon. I think she was fighting back there around when Layla Ali and the coal miner's daughter and all them was fighting. But Delphine's still out there in 2025. I checked. because I said, no, Delphine ain't still fighting. So I put in Google, is Delphine Persoon still fighting? Google said, yes, Delphine Persoon is still fighting. 49 wins, 3 losses, 19 knockouts, 52 fights for Delphine. And she's been in some big ones. Now, before Katie Taylor's fights with Amanda Serrano, no fighter had given Taylor a tougher test than Delphine Persoon. I think she beat her. And she did it twice. I thought Delphine won the first fight. She fought Katie twice, losing to Taylor by majority decision in 2019, and then by unanimous decision in 2020. Yeah, Katie won the second fight, but I thought Delphine took that first one. But before Amanda, that was Katie's toughest fight. Delphine Persoon, the better one. Now, other than those 2 losses to Taylor and an early defeat to Zelda Tekin, Persoon has defeated every opponent she has been in the ring with, okay? Just those 3 losses, and 2 to Katie Taylor and 1 early in her career as a prospect, okay? Now, Persoon is a Belgian boxer and is a 2-time lightweight champion, the veteran, Delphine Persoon, okay? Just looking at some of the active women that's currently active in 2025, that's all. Yokasta Valet. No, I'm not a women's boxer. Not Cash Sports. Yokasta Valet. I don't know how I hit that. Wait a minute. I went backwards. That's Delphine Persoon. Damn, that's Cash Sports. Yokasta Valet up. There's Yokasta Valet. Yeah, there she is. Yokasta Valet. 33 wins, 3 losses, 10 knockouts for Yokasta. Now, Valet is a Nicaraguan-born Costa Rican fighter and 3-division world champion. She is powerful and has the ability to move through weight classes, similar to Amanda Serrano, right? Now, Valet has been willing to travel for challenges too, including her 2 losses to in Germany to Tina Ruprecht, and in Japan to Naoko Fujioka. Now, Valet has been one of the most difficult fighters in the world to face. She is currently the WBC champion at strawweight 105, a title she's held since November 2024. You just got that last year. And she's considered boxing's most active female world champion, Yokasta Valet. Yes, she travels and she fights a lot. Has she fought yet this year? She got 36 fights. She might have. But she's considered boxing's most active female world champion. And to round out the top 10, Savannah Marshall. I don't think Savannah's fought in a minute either. Savannah Marshall. Savannah is 13-1, 10 knockouts. Only lost to the GOAT. She has some pop, Savannah. The only 3 people went the distance with her. She's the only person to ever beat the GOAT. The GOAT had 1 loss at the amateur level to Savannah Marshall. But the GOAT avenged it at the pro level when she beat Savannah, remember? That was the first all-women's card. That was at the O2 Arena in England. And we're going to have another all-women's card July 11th at the Garden. Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor 3. Yeah. But the first one was the GOAT. GOAT and Savannah Marshall headlined at the O2 in England. All-women's card. But Savannah Marshall. Now, with 10 knockouts and 13 career wins, it's clear that Marshall has real power. Against Clarissa Shields, which was by far her toughest fight, she struggled to connect solidly. But Marshall is a strong fighter, and it's a fair argument that she is second best in the upper weight classes to Shields in women's boxing. Now, Marshall is a 2-division world champion, including the undisputed super middleweight championship. Yes, she was undisputed. And she is currently the Ring Magazine female champion at super middleweight. Now, Marshall also represented Great Britain in the 2012 London and 2016 Rio Olympics. Yep. Franchon just missed the top 10, coming in at 11. Franchon Crews. It was a tough choice between Franchon and Savannah, but Savannah beat Franchon, so you had to give it to Savannah, right? On the strength of she beat Franchon. So yeah, Savannah 10, Franchon comes in at 11. Franchon is 9-2, 2 knockouts. I thought Franchon had more fights than that, but no, 9-2, that's it. I looked it up on BoxRec. Franchon had 11 fights. Wow. Now Franchon Crews, that's Franchon on the right? No, left. That's her fighting the GOAT. Yeah, Franchon on the left. Now Franchon became the undisputed super middleweight champion in 2022 on the undercard of Taylor Serrano at the Garden, right? Taylor Serrano won. And aside from a loss to Clarissa Shields, in both fighters' professional debuts, a no decision against Alejandro Jimenez in 2020, and a loss to Savannah Marshall, she has beaten everyone she has faced. Now, a fighter with a multitude of interests, including fashion and singing. Yeah, she sang the national anthem at the Savannah Marshall fight. Now, I thought, you fight, let somebody else sing the national anthem, okay? I didn't like that. Remember Franchon sang the national anthem in her undisputed fight against Savannah Marshall over there in England? Yeah, I didn't agree with that, but hey, like I said, don't knock the hustle. But she has a multitude of other interests, including fashion and singing. Crews Duzerne has shown a high level of power and speed, and she currently holds the WBC super middleweight title. She's held that title since 2022. Okay. Dina Thorslund. Dina Thorslund is next. Okay, what's going on in the chat right now? Let's see here. Anybody come in? No. Okay, let's continue. Dina Thorslund. I think she's Norwegian or something like that. Yeah, there's Dina. Okay, Dina is 23-0. Never lost yet in the pros. 9 knockouts. Now Thorslund is fast, quick in her punches, and unafraid to attack when necessary. Right. Now, one of the biggest questions about her is how she will fare outside of Denmark. Danish from Denmark, okay. As she has left the country to fight at the pro level just 2 times in her career, with both those fights coming in Germany. Never fought in the States yet. She's a 2-weight world champion who currently holds the WBC, WBO, and ring bantamweight titles. She is also a former European bantamweight champion, Dina Thorslund, okay? Marlon Esparza. I told you 5 years ago I couldn't name 10 women's fighters. I can give you like 40 right there in like 10 seconds off the top of my head now. Women's boxing is as popular as it's ever been right now, steadily rising. It is Marlon Esparza. 15 wins, 3 losses, 1 knockout. Now, Esparza is a 2012 Olympic bronze medalist from Houston, Texas. Yeah, she won gold for the United States in 2012. Yeah, she was on that team with the GOAT. Now, Esparza made history as the first American woman to qualify and medal in the Olympics, right? Winning bronze in the flyweight division. Yeah, she got the first medal. Got hers before. The GOAT got gold though, but Esparza got bronze. She medal. Esparza has held the WBC flyweight title since June 2021. Currently WBC flyweight champion, and the WBA in the ring titles since April 2022. She's also a former WBO flyweight champion, 2-division champion. Esparza's introduction to boxing came at age 11 when she started babysitting her little brother at a gym, right? She had to babysit, but she took a little brother to the gym with her. I'm gonna get my boxing in. This is another one I thought was retired, but no, Terry Harper. still active. Only got 19 fights. I really thought Terry Harper had more than that. But Terry is 15-2, 15 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, and 16 knockouts for Terry Harper. Now, what Terry Harper might best be known for, unfortunately, is being knocked out by Alicia Baumgardner in 2021, sending Baumgardner's career trajectory skyrocketing, and perhaps giving Harper new life too. Now, Harper, after that fight, Harper jumped up multiple weight classes and looked her best at 154 against, she beat Hannah Rankin to win the WBA junior middleweight title the following year after losing to Baumgardner. Now, Harper's power was legitimate at the lower weight classes, and they carried up with her as she's moved up through multiple weight classes. And Harper is the current WBO female lightweight champion. She came back down, currently champion at lightweight, but been as high as junior middleweight. And Harper is from England. She's from England. Terry Harper. Okay. Just another veteran. Cecilia Bracker. She said she was going to have one more fight in 2025 and retire. She's like 40-something. It's in here. We'll get to it. But she's 38 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 9 knockouts. Now, she was the former pound-for-pound #1 and longtime undisputed welterweight champion. She was the first female undisputed champion in the 4-belt era, not the GOAT. She was right behind Bernard Hopkins and Jermaine Taylor. She was the 3rd ever 4-belt undisputed champion. Cecilia Bracker is the first female, right? And she is no longer in her prime, right? The only 2 losses of her long career both came to Jessica McCaskill, Caskiller. First, when she lost her 4-belt undisputed title, then losing a rematch, attempting to regain her crown. Now, Brackett she's currently age 43 and has been fighting professionally since 2007. Yeah, she was back there with Later Ali and the coal miner's daughter in there. Now, Brackett is the first female to be undisputed in the 4-belt era, 3rd person overall, right behind B-Hop and Jermaine Taylor. And she accomplished that feat in 2014 in the welterweight division, where she reigned for 6 years until 2020. Now, Brackett is a Colombian-born Norwegian boxer, and she's also a former kickboxer. Yep, another former kickboxer, Cecilia Brackett. Kim Clavel. There's Kim. Kim is 21 wins, 2 losses, 3 knockouts. Now, Clavel is from Canada, and she's a former WBC female junior flyweight champion. Now, she has limited power, but she has proved herself able to rack up convincing wins. Her 2 best wins came against Tamara Elizabeth DeMarco in 2019 and in a dominant title win over Yesenia Gomez in 2023. Clavel is 32 years old and turned pro in 2017. She was born in and currently resides in Montreal, Canada. Okay, we got Jessica Neri Plata next. Jessica Neri, women's boxing today, 2025. These women are all currently active in the sport right now. Jessica Neri Plata, 30 wins, 2 losses, 3 knockouts. Now, Neri Plata is a Mexican pro boxer, right, who is currently the WBA and WBC World Female Junior Flyweight Champion, unified champion currently. She won the WBA title in 2022 with a split decision win over Jessica Bopp. And she won the WBC title in 2023, winning a unanimous decision over Kim Clavel, who we just talked about. Now, Neri Plata made her pro debut in July 2011, winning a 4-round majority decision over Estrella Valverde. Neri Plata holds 2 major belts in the junior flyweight division, but she hasn't defended them or fought at all since 2023. Okay? Time for her to get stripped. But the WBC ain't gonna strip her. The WBC is not gonna strip a Mexican fighter. You know that. Mauricio ain't doing that. Yeah. So she hasn't fought since 2023, but she still holds her belts. Okay. Jarrell says Christy Martin. Wow. Yeah, Christy got popped, Jarrell. Yes, she does. Yes, she does. Okay, where are we? Erica Cruz, the coal miner's daughter. Yeah, she's one of the pioneers. Yeah, we talked about her in the beginning, Jarrell. We talked about 5 pioneers. Barbara Buttrick, Mariam Tremayar, Lucia Richker, Christy Martin, and Layla Ali. Yeah, they were the highlights of boxing history today. 5 pioneers of women's boxing. Coal miner's daughter definitely laid the groundwork for none of these women wasn't for Christy Martin and those 4 other people we talked about in the beginning. They laid the groundwork for all 25 of these women we're talking about now. Okay. Erica Cruz. Oh, there's Erica Cruz right there. Erica Cruz. Yeah, there's Erica. Erica Cruz. Okay. Now, Erica, 17 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 3 knockouts. Yeah, these are all women still currently active. Now, Cruz came onto the radar as one of the best fighters in the world in 2021, banking 3 big wins that year, defeating Jelena Bajenikov twice, and between those 2 wins, earning a split decision win over Melissa Esquivel. Now, Cruz's fighting style isn't always pretty. A lot of punches and a lot of moving forward, but she's proved extremely effective. Okay? Cruz currently reigns as the WBA Super Bantamweight champion, a title she won in December 2023. She fought Amanda Serrano in 2023 also in a unification fight in the featherweight division at Madison Square Garden. Remember that one? Yeah, that was Cruz and Serrano, yeah. And Cruz lost to Serrano by 10-round split decision. It was a good fight. And Cruz is from Mexico City, Mexico. And she also works as a federal police officer down there in Mexico, right? And there's a mother. Okay? Yeah. Works as a federal police officer. And there's a mother. I don't know how I almost forgot to put Shadeja on the list. Shadeja should have been way before number 19. But Shadeja Green, I don't know how I let her fall this far back. I forgot all about Shadeja. I ain't gonna lie, I had to go back and squeeze her in there after I finished. But yeah, I got her at number 19. But Shadeja should be top 10, I think. Shadeja Green, 15 wins, 1 loss, 11 knockouts, okay? Has pop. Out of her 15 wins, only 4 went the distance with her. Yeah, that's 73.3. That'll go up as she get more fights. She keep getting them up out of there. Shadeja Green. Now, Shadeja, also known as the Sweet Terminator. She's a pro boxer and the first woman from Paterson, New Jersey to win a World Boxing Championship, right? In November 2024, she won the World Boxing Organization's Super Middleweight Championship. She also works full-time as a support manager at Community Options. And Green's basketball skills in high school led her to a scholarship at Old Dominion University. Then, she's the current WBO super middleweight. I said that, super middleweight champion, right? And she's held that title since 2024. Shadeja Green. Yeah, I don't know how she fell at 18. She should have been a little higher than that. Okay. Yeah, Shadeja. All right. What was Shadeja? 19. Wow. Okay. Yeah, but she's on the list. You know, we talk about currently active boxers. Just got a couple more. We're gonna talk about some of the top fights in women's boxing today too. Okay, from the modern era, from like 2000 to now, between 2000 and 2025. I got 10 of them, 10 great fights from that period. This is Yamalit Mercado. 24 wins, 3 losses, 5 knockouts for Mercado. There she is. Yamalit Mercado. Now, Mercado is one of the future stars of women's boxing. Even though she already has 3 losses, one came to Amanda Serrano and another to Fatuma Zarika by a close split decision when she traveled to Nairobi, Kenya in an attempt to win Zarika's WBC junior welterweight title. Now, Mercado won that title from Zarika the following year and currently still holds on to it after 6 years, making 7 defenses of it. And she's from Chihuahua, Mexico. Evelyn Bermudez. There's Evelyn. Evelyn Bermudez. There's Evelyn. 21 wins, just 1 loss, 1 draw, 7 knockouts. Now, Bermudez is an Argentine pro boxer who has demonstrated an ability to knock fighters out. Okay? She's a 2-time IBF and WBO junior flyweight world champion. She is the younger sister of former 3-division world champion Daniela Romina Bermudez. Now, Evelyn Bermudez defeated Guadalupe Bautista in 2018 to win her first major title as a pro, the IBF junior flyweight title. Then Bermudez added the WBO junior flyweight title in 2022 with a 5th round stoppage of Venezuela's Deborah Rengifo. Bermudez is from Santa Fe, Argentina. Okay, winding down. Let me get to these fights next. Jessica Yolanda Bob. Jessica Yolanda Bob. It's Jessica Yolanda Bob. Okay. I think we had Just Do Boxing in here coming up at 4 p.m. Balanced Unbiased Boxing Talk. Just Do Boxing coming up at 4. Jessica Yolanda Bob. 39 wins, 3 losses, 17 knockouts. Now, after returning from an over 2-year break in 2021, the former longtime unified junior flyweight champion had a rough go of it. Now, before stepping away, Bob was a top 10 pound-for-pound fighter. Now, she lost 2 of 3 fights when she first returned, but then she started to return to her old form, winning her last 2 fights and 3 of her last 4. Now, Bob has pop in her punches. Leading to 17 knockouts during her career. Bob is a 2-division champion, holding the WBA and WBO titles at junior flyweight and the WBO title at flyweight. And Bob is from Buenos Aires, Argentina. Okay. Montserrat Alarcon. Well, I know the last name is right. Alarcon. 19 wins, 6 losses, 2 draws. The Alarcon is one of the best fighters in the world in the smallest of weight divisions, right? She's a 2-division champion. Now she held the WBA light minimum weight title from 2018 to 2023 and the WBO flyweight title from 2017 to 2018. The light minimum weight is also known as atom weight, and the weight limit for the division is 102 pounds. Okay. Now, Alarcon won't beat you with devastating power, but she has been dominant in the division with a large turnover. Yeah, I guess It's a large turnover because it's pretty hard to keep making 102 pounds. So yeah, large turnover. A lot of people don't stay in that division too long because, of course, 102 pounds, it's hard to make that. Wow. Even, for grown women, 102 pounds. Like I said, I think my 9-year-old granddaughter weighed about 102. Last time I weighed 102, I think I was like 4 or 5 years old. Now, Alarcon is from Mexico City, Mexico. Okay. Julian Avila. Oh, no. Julian Avila. 28 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw, 4 knockouts. Avila is a 2-weight world champion, having held the WBC bantamweight title and the IBF junior featherweight title. Now, Avila doesn't overwhelm opponents, but she has been able to win by skillfully boxing her way to many unanimous decisions. She made her pro debut in October 2011, scoring a 4-round unanimous decision. She won her first title in 2014, winning the IBF junior featherweight title with a unanimous decision over Caroline Gutierrez. Okay? And then in 2020, Avila became a 2-weight world champion, defeating Mariana Juarez by unanimous decision for the WBC bantamweight championship. And Avila is from Durango, Mexico. Ebony Bridges. Old school go crazy about Ebony Bridges all the time until she lost. Ebony Bridges, 9 wins, 2 losses, 4 knockouts. And few have had a more interesting rise than Ebony Bridges, one of the world's most well-known women fighters, because of her social media presence. Now, Ebony ain't bad inside the squared circle either. She got a large social media presence, but she ain't bad in that ring neither. Now, Bridges turned pro in 2019 after a short amateur career. She's an Australian boxer, an ex-bodybuilder. She had the IBF bantamweight title from 2023 to 2023, losing it to Mayo Yoshida in December 2023. Now, Bridges won gold in the women's bantamweight division at the 2016 and 2017 Australian Golden Gloves as an amateur. Now, before becoming a boxer, Bridges worked as a math teacher and ring girl. She was a ring girl. She's also known for her weigh-in outfits. That's why old school like it so much. Them weigh-in outfits. Yeah. Old school crazy about it. Old school don't miss a Ebony Bridges weigh-in. Wait till I see him again. Yeah. Okay, Callie Reese. Callie Reese. Yeah, old school don't miss no. He might miss the fight, but old school ain't miss no Ebony Bridges weigh-in. Callie Reese. Okay. 19 wins, 7 losses, 1 draw, 5 knockouts. Now, Reese was designated champion in recess by the WBA when she stepped away from the sport to pursue an acting career and to handle personal issues. That when she left, she was on a 6-fight winning streak and seemed poised for an undisputed fight with Chantel Cameron. Now, similar to Christina Hammer, Reese hasn't officially retired, but it's been a few years since she's been in the ring. Now, Reese won the WBC middleweight title in 2016 and the WBA, WBO, and IBF junior welterweight titles. From 2020 to 2022, she held those. She's the first indigenous woman to become world champion. Reese was born in Providence, Rhode Island, and she identifies as Cape Verdean, Cherokee, Nipmuc, and Seekonk. Wampanoag. Okay? Let's go. Arely Messina. Let's got a couple more. Then we're going to get to some of these great fights All about women's boxing today. Yeah, we got to do the women because they put it on the line for us too. The last women's show I did, I got like 300 something views on the replay. On the replay. Arely Messino, 32 wins, 5 losses, 2 draws, 11 knockouts for Arely. Okay. Now Messino went on a 11 fight winning streak between 2015 and 2023. Arely has won the flyweight title 4 times. She turned pro in 2008, right? She won her first world title in 2011, defeating Chantal Cordova for the vacant IBF flyweight belt when Cordova retired in round 4 on the stool. Now she lost that title later that year in her third title defense, right? Wow, she made had 4 fights that year. Made 3 title defenses and lost it in the 4th. Maybe she should have slowed up a little bit. Now, Messino won her second world title in 2014. After losing the belt the following year, she became a 3-time world champion in 2018. Now, after making 2 successful defenses, she vacated that belt before becoming IBF champion again in 2022, her 4th time winning the flyweight title. She won that by a split decision over Argentine's Leonela Peña Utica. And Messino is from Monterrey, Mexico. Okay. And that's it. There you have it. Okay. We're going to look at some of the best women's fights of the modern era, talking between 2000 and 2025, okay? Look at some of the fights. Some of the best women's fights of the modern era. Okay, got 10 fights we're gonna look at, okay? And time permitting, we're gonna talk about that beef between Laila Ali and Claressa Shields. How did it start? I think it's ridiculous. It started from people comparing who would win between them. But like I said in the beginning, look at all the men. Ali Lewis, Ali Tyson, Sugar Ray Floyd, from different eras. Canelo, everybody from another era been compared against Canelo. But none of these men have any kind of animosity toward each other. These women on social media going back and forth. I think it's ridiculous. But we're going to talk about how the beef got started and everything. I think we're going to have time. But let's talk about these fights first. We got some of the best fights of the modern era from 2000 to 2025. Okay? If I can find them, put them in. That ain't it. Oh, excuse me. I know I can't hum or sing. Do it again? That's crazy. I can't find it. It is right there. I just put in the first 3 letters and it popped up. Technology is great. Okay, we got the 10 greatest female fights of the modern era. All right. Oh, Lord have mercy. I thought I had got everything out of order. I don't think I did. Yeah, that's the first one there. Yes, I did. Should have been Amanda Serrano and KT. Now I gotta go on a search mission and find them. Nope. Oh boy, I tell you. It's rough out here. I hit that button too fast and got it out of order. Wait a minute now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bear with me, 6. There they go. Ain't that them? No. That can't be them. Ain't neither one of them black. That's a black girl. Am I in the right place? Yeah, that's them. God damn, they was in the right place where they belong at. That's Amanda Serrano and somebody, I don't know. But the 10 greatest female fights of the modern era, okay? Number 1, Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. Okay, 2 is Clarissa Shields and Katie Taylor. I think I put the wrong thing in. Yeah, is that Katie Taylor? Amanda just arranged her face a little bit with that punch, I think. I don't know. But okay. Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor. We're talking about 10 of the greatest fights of the modern era. Okay? That ain't Katie Taylor. Just pretend that's Katie Taylor. That is Amanda on the left. Okay. Yeah, we're talking between 2000 and 2025. Take the 10 of the greatest female fights in that period. Okay. Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor 1. Now, the biggest female fight of all time, with unprecedented hype and anticipation, an iconic venue, the Garden, it could all have been blown up in everyone's faces. In many ways, it needed to deliver, and it did, and then some. It delivered everything it promised, and more. Okay? All things considered, the greatest and the most important female fight of all time. A true watershed moment in boxing history. Now, Taylor, after a good start, was badly hurt in the 5th round. Like I was telling you earlier, 3-minute rounds, Amanda would have got her up out of there. Yeah, but the 2-minute round saved Katie, and that's why all these fights between the two been 10-minute, 2-minute rounds, because Amanda wants to fight 12 rounds, 3 minutes. So that 10 round, 2 minutes is because of Katie. And the one July 11th, the trilogy is 10 rounds, 2 minutes too. Yeah. But yeah, Katie was hurt badly in the 5th round. Okay. It looked over. Only a matter of time. Serrano brought power. It looked to be the definitive deciding factor. But Taylor proved once again that an extraordinary fighter she is. Over 19,000 fans packed into the Garden that night in New York City. 1.5 million watched at home. It was some fight, some night, a special one, an unforgettable one. Taylor recovered, and despite the judges being split, won beyond any reasonable doubt. It was at times brutal and savage, but equally a thing of absolute beauty. Taylor and Serrano did everyone proud. A fight for the undisputed world championship. It was for the lightweight titles. They, in truth, mattered very little. It was just that kind of night. At some point, well, the third fight is coming up. This was before the third fight was scheduled. So they had the second fight, and the third fight is July 11th between the two, the trilogy. It's not a rubber match because rubber match would have to be 1-1, right? But it's 2-0. But it is the trilogy. So, hey. And people want to see it because Jarrell say Katie Taylor whooped that butt. And people want to see it because the first day of ticket sales for this trilogy coming up surpassed the entire ticket revenues of the first fight, okay? Entire amount taken in for the first fight from tickets. They passed that in one day for this trilogy. Okay? In the first day, right? Yeah. Back at the Garden. So yeah, I want to see it. Yeah. You know, these two women have been great for each other, man. Mm-hmm. Made each other a lot of money. You get that kind of rivalries on Ali Frazier, you know, Sugar Ray Hearns, Duran Hagler, them kind of rivalries come along. Gotti and Ward every now and then. Serrano Taylor, where they was made for each other, man. Yeah. And I'm glad they're having this trilogy. It would have been crazy if they didn't have it. Although it's 2-0, it still would have been crazy not to have the third fight. Maybe the judges won't cheat Serrano this time, Jarrell. Okay. The next one is who's the next one? Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall. This was the first all-women's because this fight, July 11th at the Garden, that Taylor Serrano headline is an all-women's card. And every fight is either for undisputed or unification. Every fight on the card is undisputed or unification fight. All-women's card. That's going to be huge. July 11th this summer. I am definitely getting that. Yeah. I wouldn't mind being there, but I doubt it. I don't like New York that much. I only been there twice. I've been there 3 times. I went twice in the same day. Told y'all last time we was leaving. Miss Cash left something in the safe. We was in New Jersey. We had to turn around and go back. She left her weed in the safe. We had to go back and get it. I said, buy some more when they got more weed in Baltimore. Shit. Go back and get, buy some more. We went all the way back and got it. So I was in New York twice in the same day. My second and third trips. But Clarissa Shields versus Savannah Marshall. Okay, it's next. Now, it was a battle for the undisputed middleweight championship of the world. But in truth, it was a battle for personal supremacy. The narrative of an amateur fight 10 years earlier, the only defeat on the record of Clarissa Shields, amateur or professional, was to Savannah Marshall in the amateurs. Now, Savannah Marshall was the one who inflicted that defeat on Shields. Now, both fighters played their part. They sold the show quite beautifully. Yes, they did. They had a nice promotion to that fight. Now, a contract, I think Ben, what's the guy named? Ben something. Ben, the English promoter, he was promoting that one. I can't think of it. Let's start with an S. Yeah. But yeah, they did a good job on that, promoting that. Now, contrasting styles and personalities. Shields is a natural in such circumstances. She excels in an environment like that. Now, Shields was made for the big show. Now, Shields didn't miss a step. She danced her way to the ring to a chorus of boos from the Marshall local faithful. It was at the O2 Arena in England. A sold-out O2 Arena crowd in London on a night women's boxing shined brightly. All women's card. That was Alicia Baumgartner and who was it? Chantel Cameron? Oh no, Michaela Mayer, wasn't it? One of those two. I always get them mixed up. But all women. Now, Marshall was always a step behind. Shields was simply inspired. A brutal, savage fight, but not a close one. The American got her revenge. The boos eventually subsided, and Shields left the ring to cheers. And even the London crowd knew what they had seen. We were getting ready to go to get Michaela Mayer and Mabel Hamadouch, right? Oh, like nobody left. Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Can somebody give me a thumbs up if y'all can hear me, please? I would appreciate it. I don't know if I'm. Nope, I'm not back. What's wrong? Something is missing. Hello. I don't know why. I'm not getting no sound. Anybody hear me? Go out and come back in. Oh, Lord have mercy. No, don't. Hello, am I back? Nope. What is it? Oh, I know what it is. I know exactly what it is. I'm on mute. Oh, ain't me. Oh, I'm back. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Why did somebody tell me I was back? Okay. Okay, we was at Michaela Mayer and Mabel Hamadouch, right? And we're running out of time, but let's get a couple more in. we got a technician came out and said it's a wire running through the house that's damaged, and they still haven't called and made my appointment yet. But Thomas Hill made a good point. I got to get closer to the main box because I'm way back here by the cordless box. He said I got to get closer to the box that's plugged in, and I'm still back here by the cordless box. So tomorrow I'm gonna move out there by the other box. Then that makes a difference. That's why I keep going out, because that TV and stuff out there never goes out. But let's get the rest of this in. Hello. Okay. We got like 10 minutes, so. That we have started this big week of boxing history. We got the majority of the women's show, and we just had some more fights to go through, that's all. So, hope everybody enjoyed it. We got to do Vermont again this week. And the profile this week is going to be the life and career of the Pride of Wales, Joe Kawasaki. Friday. Okay, going to be Joe Kawasaki. But just to, let's see, the best 10 female fights, let's just look at them real quick. Okay? We're not going to go through them like we was going to do, but let's look at what they were. Oh my goodness, that is... Bear with me for a minute. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop paying them until they come fix it. Shit. Right? I'm not getting no service. Why pay for it? That makes sense to me. Okay, let's look at these fights. We're not gonna talk about it. We're just gonna list them. Okay, we were at Michaela Mayer, Maeve Hamadouche. We talked about the top two, Serrano and Taylor. We got the trilogy coming up in July 11th from the Garden. Then we talked about Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall. Was a great fight. The first all-women's card ever. Michaela Mayer, Maeve Hamadouche. And, these were all fights between 2000 and now. Chantel Cameron and Katie Taylor, they had two. That had trilogy written all over it, but they didn't have it. Remember? They were both majority decisions. Both were each other's only loss on their careers. Right? And they left it at 1-1. There they go, Chantel Cameron and Katie Taylor. There's Chantel up in the air with a fist raise. Beat Katie down on the bottom. That was the one Chantel won. Katie won the second one. Okay, then we had after that one, we were going to talk about, we run out of time now. Katie's in a lot of them. Katie Taylor and Natasha Jonas. Remember that one? That was a good one. Katie Taylor and Natasha Jonas. Another great fight. There they go. Then we had Natasha Jonas and Michaela Mayer. Another great fight in the modern era. All these women are still currently actively fighting. They gave it one to Jonas, I think. I thought Michaela Mayer won that one. Really did. Chantel Cameron and Katie Taylor, 2. Both of those made it. That's how great they were. Both of those made top 10 of the modern era. Chantel Cameron and Katie Taylor, 2. There's Katie. Katie won that one, remember? Yeah, Katie won the second one. Then we had Chantel Cameron, Katie Taylor, 2. I missed one. There we go. Katie's in a lot of them. Katie and Daphne Pursoon. I talked about that during the show, remember? Other than Amanda Serrano, Daphne Pursoon gave Katie Taylor some of her toughest fights. Here they go. I thought Daphne won one of those fights. I think Daphne won the first one. Look at Katie. She giving Katie hell. Don't Katie look like she catching hell? Daphne like, take this. Damn it, take this. See the body language right there tell you who's winning. You looking at that picture right there, who you think winning? Me like Daphne. Daphne's face says I'm winning. Katie's face says I'm losing. Right? Okay, then we had these are all great women's fights in the modern era. Natasha Jonas again, against Terry Harper and Natasha Jonas. There you go. Yeah, the body English clearly tells who won that fight. Look at Terry Harper, look at Natasha Jonas. I ain't even got to tell you who won that one. Yeah, Terry Harper clearly lost. And like no dispute. And finally, we had Shannon Courtenay and Ebony Bridges. Old school's girl, Ebony Bridges. Too bad old school ain't in here. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I can't tell which one is which. I think, let's see. Shannon Courtenay and Ebony Bridges. Now, the social media hype machine, the lingerie model who should be exposed and sent back to Australia as a boxing fate. Man. That's what many thought and said when Ebony Bridges came over to the UK to fight Shannon Courtenay for the vacant WBA bantamweight title in April 2021. Now see, that's Bridges on the left. Now Bridges came over to prove her point. She did. Bridges was hurt on a couple of occasions, severely hampered by a grotesque swelling over her left eye, but she came roaring back to prove all her doubters wrong, including her opponent. The judges were incredibly harsh on Bridges. The Australian deserved more credit for her work. Steve Bunt said, "It might have been the best women's fight we've ever seen in this country. Without the injury to her eye, Bridges would probably have won." Oh, Bridges lost. What? I thought Ebony won that one. Oh, Ebony lost that one. Wow. Okay, that was in 2021. But yeah, okay. We got it in before going out again. Just Do Boxing comes up at 4 p.m. Okay. Appreciate everybody riding with me today. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We didn't get to the we might do that for the boxing history tomorrow. The Layla Ali and Clarissa Shields beef. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that eventually. Okay. But we'll be back tomorrow with some more boxing history. Promise. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Women's boxing. Yeah, we do the stuff shows on the women every now and then because they get in and put it on the line for us boxing fans too. But this is fight week for another big 2025 card, headlined by Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero. Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez. Teofimo Lopez versus Arnold Barboza. And some other good fights on the card too. This weekend, we're in fight week, right at the beginning of it. Okay. Few days. I think that card is Friday, and the Canelo card is Saturday, right? It's a big weekend of fight. Okay, we got Canelo and William Skull too, and Canelo can be the first two-time four-belt undisputed in the same division. When he still had the other three, WBA, WBO, WBC, because this is for the one he was stripped of, for the IBF, right? Nobody has ever been four-belt undisputed in the same division twice, right? Canelo can do that for the first time, I think. Yeah. Because he was stripped for William Skull. That's who he's fighting this week. I suppose Canelo will be. I don't give Skull any chance at all. I don't even give him a puncher's chance. You ain't knocking Canelo out. Skull doesn't even have a puncher's chance. Okay, no chance at all of winning this fight. Okay, none, zero, nada, zilch. Arrivederci. Does that mean zero? Okay, but let's get ready to get out of here. Okay. I will see y'all tomorrow. Appreciate everybody coming through. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Boxtorian, bringing you all that boxing history. We got Just Do Boxing coming up at 4 p.m. in a couple minutes. Literally 1 minute. Okay, this is Cat Sports. Appreciate it, y'all. 1000%. Everybody have a great afternoon. I will see y'all around the YouTube street.